Welcome to today's Explainer. So look, we're going to dive right into that incredibly frustrating cycle we've all experienced. Setting an ambitious goal, giving it your absolute all for a week or two, and then, suddenly, just quitting. We are going to unpack exactly why that happens, and more importantly, how to build unbreakable consistency, using some really powerful insights from Jeff Olson's book, The Slight Edge. All right, let's get into it. If you had just stayed consistent, you'd already be there by now. Man, if you've ever heard that nagging little voice in your head, I want you to know right now that you are absolutely not alone. We beat ourselves up, right? We think we're just lazy or somehow broken, but here is the truth. Your struggle isn't a lack of willpower or drive, it's actually a fundamental misunderstanding of how success truly operates on a day-to-day basis. Why is it so easy to set a goal but so ridiculously hard to actually stick with it? I mean, it's kind of the million-dollar question. Why is dreaming so simple but doing so incredibly difficult? To find the answer, we have to look completely past this Hollywood myth of massive overnight change. We need to explore the hidden underlying forces that are quietly shaping your life every single day, whether you realize it or not. Which brings us to part one, the invisible war. Right now, at this very second, your life is in continuous motion. Every single day is basically a battlefield of tiny, seemingly insignificant choices that are actively curving you upward toward success or curving you downward toward failure. And this invisible war, it's definitely not optional. The terrifying part is that a successful choice and a failing choice look absolutely identical in the short term. On day one, the person reading 10 pages and the person skipping the gym look exactly the same. Even on day 30, there's barely a difference. But by day 1000, those tiny 0.1% daily shifts have created completely different realities, different bodies, and totally different lives. Let's move into part two, the trap of easy choices. Now, we all know the simple actions required to succeed. Reading a few pages, working out for 30 minutes, saving a little money each month. These are honestly easy things to do. But here is the ultimate trap. What is easy to do is also incredibly easy not to do. And why is it so easy to just skip them? Because there are zero immediate catastrophic consequences when you drop a good habit. You skip the gym today, you don't instantly have a heart attack. You eat the junk food, you don't magically gain 10 pounds overnight. Because that feedback isn't immediate, you start to believe that small cheats just don't matter. But eventually, 1,000 of these invisible skips compound, and they completely derail your life. This leads us right into part three, the myth of perfection. So when we try to build a habit and we inevitably slip up, our perfectionism tells us we've failed completely, and we tend to spiral into shame. We think, well, I totally ruined my diet today, might as well quit the whole thing. But that brings us to a truly shocking lesson from the Apollo 11 moon landing. You'd think one of humanity's greatest technological achievements flew in a perfectly straight line, right? Nope. The Apollo rocket was actually off course 97% of the time. Just let that sink in for a second. 97%. It drifted, and the internal systems corrected it. It drifted again, and it corrected again. Thousands of tiny adjustments all the way to the moon. This totally redefines how we should look at our own journeys. Success is literally just constant course correction. When you miss a workout or you have a terrible week of eating, remember the rocket. Winners aren't the ones who never drift off course. Drifting is completely normal. Winners are simply the ones who never stop correcting. They just adjust their course the very next day without all the guilt trips. Just think about a baby learning to walk. They stand up, they fall down. They stand up, they fall again. You never see a baby fall and decide, you know what? Walking just isn't for me. I think I'm going to stick to crawling forever. No way. They don't even know how to give up. Just like that baby, you have to embrace the inevitable bad days, the falls, and just take one small step forward instead of completely abandoning your goal. All right, part four, building unstoppable momentum. Getting back up, taking that small step, and doing it consistently, that is how you build the most powerful force in the universe, momentum. Jeff Olson compares this process to pushing a massive 5,000-pound, 30-foot-wide flywheel. When you first push it, it barely moves an inch. Your arms are burning, and it feels pretty much impossible. But you keep pushing. One rotation becomes 2, then 10, then 50. Suddenly, it's spinning effortlessly on its own. And if someone asks you, hey, what was the one big push that made it spin? The answer is simple. All of them, combined. It's the tortoise's steady, continuous action that wins the race. The hare's constant sprinting and stopping, that tills momentum entirely. Every single time you stop, you're starting from zero. Think of this momentum kind of like a farmer tending to his crops. You simply cannot plant a seed today and expect to harvest the results tomorrow. There is a crucial step in between, and it's called cultivation. And it takes time. You have to endure this unsexy, completely invisible cultivation phase where all the growth is happening underground. You must trust the process without desperately digging up the seed every single morning just to check if it's growing. Let's look at what happens when you just let that cultivation compound. In the book, Olson talks about a shoeshine woman who read romance novels in her downtime. He wondered, what if she read just 10 pages of a business or mindset book a day instead? 10 pages a day adds up to 3,650 pages a year. That's 12 to 15 life-changing books annually. Without waiting for some massive, dramatic leap, those small daily inputs completely transform your mind over time.
And finally, part 5, taking the leap today. Before you can cultivate this kind of lasting success, you first need to plug the holes in your boat and reclaim your energy. It starts with passing the integrity test, which is, simply put, what you do when absolutely no one else is watching. It's skipping that late-night junk food when you're all alone in the kitchen. Winning these private, quiet battles is crucial because it builds incredible self-trust. And you absolutely need that self-trust to tackle the heavy psychological baggage that's quietly weighing you down, what Olson brilliantly calls incomplete vampires.
So what exactly is an incomplete vampire? Well, it's all the unfinished business in your life. Unreturned phone calls, those half-done projects sitting in your garage, unkept promises, or unpaid debts. These unfinished tasks are tiny vampires literally sucking your focus and constantly pulling you backward into the past. You must write them down and systematically eliminate them, one by one, to release the past and get your forward momentum back. With your energy restored and the vampires gone, you can apply this highly practical 3-step formula. You see, most people overcomplicate their goals with these massive 40-step systems they're never actually gonna execute. Don't do that. Just write down one specific goal. Look at it every single day to keep from drifting. And start with a simple, imperfect plan. Honestly, just get moving. As you start moving, notice where your focus actually is. If you spend 5 minutes staring at the floor, you'll likely start thinking about your past mistakes and regrets. It pulls you backward. But if you look up at the ceiling, your brain naturally shifts toward the future. Stop looking down at what went wrong yesterday. Look up. Allow yourself to be pulled forward by the endless possibilities of what you can build, starting right now.
Which perfectly sets up the famous frog problem. 5 frogs sit on a lily pad, and one decides to jump off. How many are left? The answer is still 5. Why? Because deciding to jump is not the same thing as actually jumping. Deciding to change your life, watching this explainer, making a detailed plan, it's all utterly meaningless until you take the physical action.
You've consumed the info. You now understand the invisible curve, the trap of easy choices, and the mechanics of unstoppable momentum. But the journey only truly begins when you actually leave the lily pad. So I'll leave you with this. Knowing what you know right now, what is the one small curving up choice you're going to make today?